Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Look at the beautiful tulips here. Yeah, we're in front of the. I'm live streaming. I appreciate it. Thank you. No, okay, good. I appreciate that they let me walk through there without engaging with me. That's amazing. Usually they still will try, even though I'm live streaming. That's great. So here's Michigan Avenue. We're crossing here. We just made the light. It's noticeably cooler today, but the sunshine helps for about 50 degrees. So I'm going to try to make it to the South Loop. We'll walk down LaSalle. Chris, how you doing there, Krista? Thanks everybody for tuning in here. Yeah, well, Ernie, how you doing there? Yeah, so Ernie broke the news to me there, and Tara and other people. There's white smoke. So I haven't made an announcement unless Ernie knows. If you know, I guess they picked a new pope there, so everybody's eagerly awaiting the news. There's the brown line rounding the bend there. There's the corner of the loop there. David, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in from Compton there. Danny, how you doing there? Yeah, we can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Yeah, any minute. So hey, we might be able to break the news there. So Ernie, thanks for being on. Yeah, if you hear anything or anybody else, we'll be able to, hopefully within the next hour, we might be able to break the news of the new pope. So the conclave, they have picked a new pope. The white smoke has been seen there in the Vatican. We'll see if this is a joke, of course. You know, I'm sure the president will be pissed because the pope will preempt the news of him striking a deal with the UK there for a trade deal. So already the news of the new pope is replaced the headlines of many trade deals that are coming out. So here's where we'll cross. There's the Trump Tower as we speak of that, and there's the Virgin Hotels here. We'll head over to State Street. We'll see what's. We'll stay on the sunny side until we get to State Street here. Here's Wabash here. We'll see if we see any more trains around the bend. Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, how you doing there, Christopher? Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we'll just walk down State. We'll cut through Daley Plaza. I think they're starting to have some cultural, and the farmers market will not start until 2 weeks from now. Usually on Thursdays they have the farmers market at Daley Plaza. Here we got about 50 degrees. It's a little cooler today there. How you doing there, Renee there, and young fighter? Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about there. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. So you're just going to keep repeating that over and over again? Okay, good. So here's Taco La Gutiera. Hey, get your taco dinners here. Burritos tostadas. Yeah. So here we'll head across State Street here. Yeah, there's some nice tulips when you look up north here. They're working on the State Street Bridge, so we can't cross here, but north, but we can head south, and that's what we're gonna do. There's the big bus. Yeah, we'll get across State Street. We'll show you the tulips here. There's the Marina Towers. Here's the Witt Hotel. They got the sculpture here, and we'll head down to Daley Plaza here. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea, young fighter. Please explain yourself. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm confused. Do I know you? Do you follow me on TikTok or YouTube? I have no idea what you're talking about. And most of the time when you're live streaming, you're just confused. Here's the Chicago Theater. Hey, yeah, the JP Morgan Corporate Challenge. They're going to have a run that goes through Grant Park after work tonight. So 2 years ago I filmed it. I don't think I'll do it this year because, you know, I'll just head home from work as we usually do here. But yeah, nice weather here. Thanks, Ernie. Thanks for helping out there. See, I do have moderators. Did anybody else? I have no idea what that person was talking about. And usually when people write in all caps, it's usually a bad sign. If you're trying to get us to answer a question there, don't write in all caps because it means you're yelling. Here's the tulips on State Street. And we'll get you another view of the Chicago Theater here. We'll head by the Gene Siskel Film Center. Here's the plug walk. There's the Chicago Theater there. Corporate Challenge runners, good luck. And I'm surprised they got that on the marquee, but it shows you the power of corporate branding. Here, Gene Siskel Film Center, State Street. We got tulips. Thanks so much to my mods there. And Dia Blaze, how you doing there? Hey, he's a troll, yeah. But you know, the funny thing is, he didn't get me going. Okay, I'm talking to that. He didn't get me going because I have no idea what he was talking about. I couldn't even understand what message or thing they were trying to get me to react to. It just didn't make any sense. And maybe that was the point. Hey, there's Muddy Waters there. Look at that. And there's look at that. Yeah, maybe they couldn't see what they were typing. Thanks, how you doing there, Safira? Thanks for tuning in here. We'll head under the beautiful marquee here, the Nederlander here. We got the Blick, Broadway in Chicago. You saw me cross the Michigan Avenue, that's great. Yeah, he said he works on the tour boats there, that's great. So maybe I'll run into him sometime. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for helping out Ernie and everybody else here. And yeah, now that we got more people in the chat here, there's positive news for Diana there. She's, and it was scary because her cousin, they said they took her off of life support. I did not realize she was on life support. That shows you how dire her situation was with the blood clots and the pace. She got an operation for a pacemaker earlier this week. That was successful. And so now she's improved enough that they can take her off of life support, but she still has a long way to go. And yeah, there's something going on at Daley Plaza, so let's go over and see what's happening here at Daley Plaza. And as we head to the summer, there'll be more cultural and political events and things going on here. And here's the Nederlander here. We're crossing Randolph, and we'll head down Dearborn. And how you doing there? Mr. Blue Check, yeah, you can check out my face. Go to TikTok there. Check out the pin to the top. There's my face. Why are people so concerned about my face and what I look like? There, look at that. There's the trains going by. Sounds like we got some creepy people that want to like do something to my face. How you doing there? So here, we'll head straight through here. And we'll see what's happening at Daley Plaza here. Mr. Blue. Yeah, that's what matters. You're right. I think you're being sarcastic. Yeah. I'd rather see what's happening in the streets here. My face is pretty, it just looks like another human face there. I'm not a supermodel. But here, okay. Oh, so this is for the independence of Israel. So we're celebrating the... How many years is Israel since 1947? How you doing here? So they got heavy police presence. They had some speakers here, so we probably have to go through security to get in through here. So I'll just show what's going on here. I'm a live streamer here on YouTube, and they're having some speakers here to celebrate the existence of Israel as a country. People are on. Hey, here's the eternal flame that all the military veterans for all branches of the military. Here's the Picasso people are gathered here at Daley Plaza for a. And yeah, you got to go through security. So I'm not going to go through security. I'll just show you what's going on here, Daley Plaza. This is a celebration of the independence of Israel, and I know it's going to be controversial with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict that's going on. That's why there's a heavy police presence here. And so we'll just show the people at the Picasso here. How you doing there? Vincent, how you doing there? So here, they're cheering there. Here it is. We'll show these are First Amendment free speech. I did not create these posters. These are on the, see, there we go. People support, how you doing there? So look at that. Chicago celebrates Israel. There you go. Look at that. So Waiting for the new Pope. Yeah, we're eagerly awaiting the news. There's white smoke from the Vatican. So there's a police presence here. We're just showing what's going on. We'll show the fountain here. Maybe we can get a little closer if we go this way. We'll just get closer to the stage here. Security's checking me out here. And
Eitan Home. מדבר חיימן.
איתן אברהם מור. אביב אצילי.
אוריאל ברוך. אילן וייס.
So here, Daley Plaza, Chicago, Illinois. Thanks for tuning in here. What do we got here? May the 8th, 2025. Daley Plaza, and there's a Israeli celebrating the founding of Israel, the anniversary of Israel as a country here, Daley Plaza, and we'll head down to South Loop. Howard, how you doing there in the rain? Ernesto, you watching the news there? Yeah. Vincent got an adoption. Oh, that's interesting. Zach, how you doing there? So here, let's head across the street here. We'll get across here. Here's the Burnham Center. So we did this when we came back from the May Day protest. We'll go by the rare coins here. They got some interesting antiquities here. So, hey, how you doing there? BXO DIR there. Thanks, like the flag there. Baxodur. Eric, how you doing there? Uzbekistan. Oh, that's Uzbekistan. Thank you. Thank you, Uzbekistan. I like the flag there. Thanks for tuning in. So here's the First Methodist Episcopal Church, this tall church here in Chicago. And then they got the Harlan Burke rare coins here. They got all the ancient Greek coins. They got the clay things. They got the little pots there. Ancient Roman and Greek coins here. Look at this stuff. Look at it. This is right on Clark Street here. See, we're just south of, there's the Thompson Center. There's the City Hall. This is south of Washington Street. There's Harlan Burke. There's the guy that owns this place. And they got all these Roman and Greek coins here. And there, you can check this out. Byzantine. They got Byzantine. These are from the Byzantine Empire. Look at that. Byzantium. Look at this thing. Wow. You got these little vessels. Look at all this stuff here. Ancient coins. They got the clay things. They got rings. These are ancient rings. People have wore these rings, bracelets, amulets. Look at all this stuff. They got Egyptian stuff. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Look, that's like from Samaria. That's really old stuff here. And if you just joined, we're in Chicago here. We're checking out the rare coins and antiquities. Look at that. Belgium, how you doing? New Pope, yeah, there's white smoke. Any news? We don't know who it is yet. And here, we'll cut over one block and we'll go over to LaSalle Street because they're doing construction on Clark Street. It's really loud. And we filmed it. They got the street open. You can look down to the vaults. But it's really loud walking by there, so I'll skip it. We'll head over to LaSalle Street because I don't want to talk over it. But we'll get close enough. You'll see you hear how loud it is there. They got some machinery working here. So welcome to Chicago. We're in the loop here. We got about 50 degrees, but the sun's out, which is we're in the shadows here. It's kind of windy today. It's kind of cool. We'll head over to LaSalle Street. And here's the Chase Tower. That's great. That's awesome. That's good. Very nice. Look at that fashion. Walking up Clark Street there. That's great. Yeah, our kind of town. You got it. Chicago is. Here's the construction on Clark Street. There you can see up to the Thompson Center. see how loud it is. Here's St. Peter's in the Loop here. It's interesting mid-block church. Yeah, I was just there. So yeah, they saw me walk through there. How's it going, Chris Cruz? There, yeah, I just walked through there. And it shows you that the police noticed I was there. And you noticed I was there. So hey, there it shows you. Yeah, new Pope appearance. Oh, the Pope is out? What's the name? Have they, yeah, Al Capone's. So if you watch on TikTok, we went to Al Capone's house that he bought in 1923. It was in Ground Crossings. That's where his mother and his wife lived. Of course, he didn't always live there. He lived in Cicero. He lived in hotels. He had a place in Miami. Al Capone was everywhere, as we know. And you go to every town out in the middle of nowhere, everybody said Al Capone was here. But he really was here in Chicago because we know that. And yeah, we went down to 73rd and Prairie there. We filmed. I got Al Capone's house there. We got several reruns there. I know you might not be able to watch it on YouTube, but I am on TikTok. I have a much larger presence on TikTok. And here, we'll head down here. We'll go to the left. Hey, here we go. We'll cross. We'll walk on the sunny side of the street here. Because, actually, I want to stay in the shadows. I want to stay in the shadows because we're heading south, and I don't want to have to film into the sun here. So we'll stay on this side of LaSalle Street, and we're heading to the South Loop. We got about 12:15. Thanks for tuning in here. And we'll just head down to Historic Financial District of Chicago, show you these beautiful historic buildings. The Roanoke Building and Tower, built in 1922. And someone came out, but it wasn't the new Pope. Yes, everybody's waiting for the new Pope. It was a false alarm there, yeah. But I know everybody's on it there. I'm sure there'll be an announcement here. People will let us know once the world knows here. So here's the Millennium on LaSalle. Here's the old Northern Trust Company there. Look how they added all those floors to the top. They just kept the facade at the bottom there. But here's the Board of Trade here. We're heading south on LaSalle here. New Pope was born in Chicago? No way. So it was the Cardinal addressing the people there. Okay, good. Hey, how you doing there, Elgin? Thanks for tuning in there. Mikanushka. Yeah, Danny. So yeah, they're right now, if you watch the news, I'm sure there's all over late breaking news there, the white smoke there, the Vatican. And we'll be sure to let you know once we hear ourselves here. So here we're at Monroe Street. This is Monroe in the south. We're heading south here. CIBC, BMO Bank here. They got the fountain on over there. Signs of spring. The weather looks pretty good for Saturday, May the 10th. They're going to turn the Buckingham Fountain on. I'll be streaming it on TikTok. It should be around noon. We'll start streaming around 11:30 Chicago Central Time on Saturday. It's supposed to be around 70 degrees and sunny. And it should be a beautiful day on Saturday to see the Buckingham Fountain turn on. And everybody in Chicago loves that because when that fountain's on, it means it's summertime in Chicago. The trees are green. And we're always sad every year when they turn it off there. Hey, how you doing there, Minanushka? Annette there. From Chicago, Leo. No way. How you doing there? Yeah, thanks, Christopher. Yeah, it was a fun time. We had reruns from last year. We covered it the last 2 years. I lost the footage from my first year. The WGN weather guy there, Kurt Skilling, he was the master of ceremonies. He couldn't do it last year because the am I saying his name right? Who was the weather guy for WGN? He just retired, and people, I'm trying to emulate his voice, his smooth delivery there, you know, with my voiceover here. There's LaSalle Street. There's the Sears Tower. Look at that, and I won't stay. Oh wait, no. Turn here, and I'm like a rube here walking in the middle of the street. But here's the Board of Trade, here's the Sears Tower, and here's Adams in LaSalle. This is the Rookery building. We've gone inside there. I'm not going to go inside today. We got reruns of the Frank Lloyd Wright. Redid the atrium there. Robert Francis, new Pope, born in Chicago. Wow, Robert Francis, the new Pope. Born in Chicago. That is awesome. Thanks, Ernie, for breaking the news there. You hear that? So the new Pope, Robert Francis, first American Pope. The first American Pope. Look at that. Yeah. Your wife loves the Sears Tower. Yeah, it's nice. Robert Francis Prevost. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the good information, Lambie and Ernie. See here, we're in front of the Rookery. Look at that. Oh, man. And then we're across from the City National Bank and Trust Company. Historically, they used these buildings in The Untouchables. They filmed Batman movie footage here and the Public Enemies. But of course, The Untouchables has a famous scene where they raided a liquor distribution facility that was right here. And they used like the Federal Reserve building or the Wintrust, which used to be another bank that built this. There's the Board of Trade here. Your wife's from Schaumburg? Robert Francis Prevost, P-E-R-V-O-S-T, elected the new Pope there. From Chicago, born in Chicago, the first American Pope. Wow. Ernesto, isn't that amazing? Yeah, see, thanks for keeping us updated here. So it's so beautiful in there. I really would love to stream the lobby there, but when I go in there, the walls are so thick that I lose my connection. So I'll have to go in there and film an old-fashioned TikTok. And we're going to the South Loop anyway, so we'll run across the street here at Jackson. And we'll film these fountains here. But here's the Board of Trade, Chicago Board of Trade. The world's, at one time, this was the commodities and futures market, and then they made the Mercantile Exchange, the Merc, and that's over on Wacker Drive there. So we'll leave LaSalle, we'll go by these fountains here, we'll walk down to the South Loop. Born and raised in Chicago, 69 years old. Thanks everybody for the good information. Yeah, if you just joined, white smoke was seen from the Vatican earlier this morning, or it was evening, afternoon over there. They're ahead of us. And here's, we filmed these before. These are the statues. We thought these statues were lost. They found these in a forest preserve. The original Chicago Board of Trade statues used to be the original Board of Trade building. These two statues symbolizing architecture, agriculture, and industry. This is agriculture and industry. Once stood over the main entrance to the Board of Trade building. See, they were right there. And built in 1885. They demolished in 1929 to make, room for the current Art Deco structure. Forest Preserve officials uncovered the 12-foot, 5 1/2 ton granite statues at the hidden Lake Forest Preserve near Downers Grove. They were just lost there, and so they put them back here, put them on this plaza with this beautiful fountain. And see, the Chicago Board of Trade will walk underneath here, and we'll head down to the West Loop here, or the South Loop here. Hey, they're skateboarding here. So here, we'll head through here. And beautiful day here. They got the hanging baskets. Hey, skateboarding through here. Oh, I tried to do an ollie there. So you can head underneath. You can pop right out at Van Buren here. So we'll head through here. And how you doing here? Yeah, the new Pope Leo, originally from Chicago, is a Cubs fan. That's awesome. That's a beautiful fountain there. Don't tell that to Darren Monroe. He wants him to be a White Sox fan. Hey, how you doing there? Yeah, Rob on the road. Yeah, it should make some interesting times. I agree. Hey, it sounds like they're doing construction down here. I didn't realize they're doing construction on Van Buren. It's going to get loud, and especially with the L train. We'll head under Van Buren here a little bit. Look at this old historic station here. This is the old L station here. This is the South Street. Peyton, thanks for thinking of me about Chicago here. Yeah, we're 127 West Van Buren here. Here's Bonnie Vita Pizza here as they announced the day they announced the new Pope here. We got May the 8th here, 2025 pizza by the slice, $7. Go to Bonnie Vito here on Van Buren. Here's one of the reasons I went to. Somebody was asking me about this yesterday. The Sky Ride Tap. Here's the Sky Ride Tap. This is on Van Buren here. Sandwiches, packaged goods. Go to the Sky Ride Tap here on Van Buren. And then they got this diner open 24 hours, 7 days a week here. Go to Mr. American Submarine. American Submarine here. We're at the corner of Clark Street and Van Buren. And if we head down here, you see this sign? This used to be the original Chinatown. So before Chinatown moved down to Wentworth and 22nd and Cermak, La Cocina, you see it's a Mexican restaurant. This used to be a Chinese restaurant, and this sign is one of the last reminders of this whole block before they tore down the buildings on the other side to build the Federal Plaza here, or the federal prison. This is a federal prison. And that sign used to be a Chinese restaurant. Now it's a Mexican restaurant, and this used to be a Chinatown. But we got all these stores here, and this area was much more densely populated when all the railroad stations came in here. Printers Row used to be more industrial, all the printing presses, and they would ship out the books and the sheet music on the rails there. Pope Leo the 14th there, yeah. YouTube's growing, yeah. We got 142 people tuning in. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago here. Yeah, we're just walking here through the South Loop. Thanks everybody for tuning in Chicago here. And yeah, the news was started to break there before I went live. And I wondered if, like we expected, we got to break the news here. The new Pope there, an American Pope. And from Chicago. So people from Chicago will love that. And Ernie's already talking about it there. I'm sure we'll get more information and we'll talk more about it tonight. And thanks everybody for your prayers for Diana. I just got a message from her nephew David, who's been updating. She was in a more dire situation than I realized. She was on life support for a while. Diana's been having a rough time there. She's at the Houston Medical Center. She's been dealing with blood clots, but she got a new pacemaker, and they took her off of life support because she's improving, and but she's still got a long road to recovery. So thanks for your continued prayers for Diana there, our friend and moderator on TikTok. And there's the Sears Tower. We're heading to the South Loop here. There's the Harold Washington Library. We tried to go to the Winter Garden there, but they had a private event, and then they said they were going to be closed for a few weeks or a few days. I don't know what they're doing. So after that's over, we'll go back up there. But this is the federal prison. There's the back of the Board of Trade. There's the Sears Tower, and that's the Stock Exchange building. There was a restaurant at the top. You see the Chicago Stock Exchange. You see that? And it goes over top of, this used to be called Congress Parkway. Now it's called Ida B. Wells. It lines up with the Buckingham Fountain, and it also lines up with the Eisenhower Expressway. These are some of the oldest vintage steel frame construction skyscrapers in the world. 1892, the Manhattan Building, that's the Old Colony, and that's the Fishers Building. And I think that's called the Plymouth Building in between there. See, these are some of the oldest steel frame construction skyscrapers, and that's why that postmodern version of the skyscraper. There's the Monadnock Building. The southern half's steel frame, the northern half's load-bearing wall is one of the tallest load-bearing walls buildings ever attempted. Just like that building there, Louis Sullivan, that's the auditorium building, 16 stories. That was briefly the tallest building in Chicago when that was built in 1892. Can you believe that? You see here, we'll head across the street here. We'll head down. Look at that. And look at that view to the Sears Tower there, the 311 South Wacker building, the federal prison there, Sears Tower, and the Stock Exchange building. Look at that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. How you doing here? So here, let's head down Printers Row here. We got 1228. Yeah, I went to the library last week. Please don't. I know you people are giving me suggestions of what you want to see. I'm an American. I just like you. I know everybody's gonna tell me like, go here, go there, do this, do that. And just let me have a nice walk here, walking on my lunch break here. I'm volunteering my time. I don't expect anything from you guys. Please don't expect anything from me. It's just, I don't even expect you people to give me gifts or anything. You know, you don't even have to subscribe. Just be nice to people in the comments there. Don't make it personal. And we'll get through this here. Yeah, that's okay. No, that's okay. I know. You're fine. You know, my psyche, I'm not, people don't realize there's a lot of things I don't like about social media, and I tolerate it just like all of us do, because we really have no choice. You know, just like artificial intelligence, there's nothing we can do to stop it. It's just going to affect our lives whether we like it or not. And just make sure we remember who to hold responsible, these billionaires that force this technology on us, with this disruptive technology that's going to cause people to lose jobs. And that's why it's so frustrating when they so cavalierly are willing to cut people's jobs when they're billionaires, you know. But hey, that's just my opinion, man. Right here, Printers Row. See, look, they got we've come down here. You know, they have the literary festival in the fall. Printers Row was a printing warehouse district, because there was a lot, like Dearborn Station that we'll see here. Well, you can get out in the street here, we can see it. See, that's Dearborn Station, and that clock tower is preserved. It's no longer used as a station. It was mainly a railroad terminal. There was a lot of terminus of a lot of railroads at the south loop of Chicago, and they removed a lot of the railroads and replaced it with housing and other things, and that's still going on. There's this development called the 78. We'll see if it actually goes forward or not. It might be on hold. How you doing? And I didn't realize there's somebody sitting in the car here. I'm just walking down the street. I didn't realize somebody's sitting in the car here. Somebody's yelling at me. Hey, look, he's yelling at me because so somebody's making threats at me because I just walked in front of their car. So welcome to America. He hates my guts just because I'm a live streamer. So hey, welcome to Chicago, where people yell at people, and I got to get away before he starts like attacking me or something. Here's I don't notice when people sit in cars. Like, people sit in cars all the time, and they think I'm like filming them. I had no idea somebody was sitting in the car, and I was trying to film for Dearborn. So the perils of live streaming are legion. One day I'll disappear. You'll see me in the headlines. I'll be like just pew-pewed in the street. So nice knowing you. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And here's the Franklin Company. Look at the nice. Look at that. You know why he didn't like me? I'm wearing a Cubs hat. If I was wearing a White Sox hat, they might have been more accommodating. People don't realize, you know, there's you know, just by and I wear the White Sox hat too. We go back and forth about this. I'm gonna have to stop wearing the Cubs hat, because even I posted a nice encounter with Rebecca yesterday, and she was wearing a Cubs, and we're gonna get hate mail just because she was wearing Cubs, you know. How you doing? I'm looking behind me, make sure there's nobody like stalking me here. But here's Dearborn Station, and here we'll head over. Oh my God! When did this happen? When did America become like where everybody's just like seconds away from pulling out a pew-pew over like some minor misunderstanding? You know, we see it in the comments. I think social media makes it worse. Hopefully I'm not making it worse by being on social media. And here we'll head up here. We've shown this before. This is a nice street here. And you got to understand, okay, so the actions of billionaires affect me because I'm on social media. If people don't like Jeff Bezos, or they don't like Elon Musk, they don't like me because I'm on social media, they think I'm like endorsing what they're doing to the world just because I'm using a social media platform. And I understand that anger because I have it too. And look at that. Your old street there. Now our country did start that way. Our country started with the war. Well, so did a lot of South American countries. There, the Bolivar Revolution there. We fighting off the colonial powers. Scotland, how you doing there? Naya, how you doing there? Yeah. Chippy, how you doing? I just don't understand why. You saw I was trying to be polite, and I was like, sorry, I didn't see you sitting there. And then they start like yelling at me, and they want to kill me. You know, it's just like, I'm just walking by. You know, how you doing? Have a nice day. I'm so, you know, it's so hard. Like, I can't even like watch Instagram because there's all these road rage incidents, people being driven off the road on their motorcycle, and people are scared. It's because people are scared, and we always have to revert to the self-defense, which is, you know, it's just this endless cycles of violence. But that's the human condition. We all face this. Let's go back to talking about the new Pope before these guys find me and attack me. Here, we'll head back to State Street. And yeah, I mean, you know, the stock market's going up today. Every time the stock market goes up, I'm not happy. You know why? Because it's not making my life better. The stock market going up, what is it doing for the rest of us? It's just making everything more expensive, even if you want to buy stocks. And they got everybody snookered, and we have to buy what they already own. Look at these nice people just jogging down the street. I certainly hope if they jog past that guy in the car, they won't be so adversarial to these nice women just jogging down the street. And if they had cameras, maybe that makes a difference. What's a Pope? Good question, good question. So here we'll cross Harrison Street. Very good. See, there's not a stop sign there, and they were confused, and I was going to let them go through. It's because there's a pedestrian thing there. Okay, I got it. Pope salad. So, what else is going on here? Yeah, Ronnie, B. Michael. So, I'm heading back to work. I'm on my lunch break. So, I usually, at lunchtime, I'll walk around the loop here. Sometimes, like yesterday, we did the river walk. We saw the bridge lift, the reruns. You can go to the live tab there. Just go to the live tab on my YouTube. You'll see where I usually in the lunchtime here. We just walk around the loop here. We get some content on YouTube, and then we transfer over to TikTok. I have to be on a different platform because we could lose TikTok at any time. We could lose YouTube at any time. As far as they could cancel our account for violating the terms and conditions, which are always changing. You're trying to stay sober, it's hard. But hey, Vasile, Mark, Oros, thanks for tuning in. How's everybody else doing? So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're heading north on State Street. We're going to check out the beautiful tulips here. And here's State and Ida B. Wells. A lot of times we try to talk about history. We try to talk about cultural things, like we walked by the Daley Plaza and we saw what was going on today. They had heavy security over there. We'll get across Ida B. Wells here. Look at that. So the Robert Morris Center is right here. Robert Morris College has this building. This is a really old building. This goes back to the 1890s. See how large it is. This is the Harold Washington Library. And again, we'll do it some other time. Look at these tulips. I just want to walk up State Street. I got 20 minutes to get back to work, so I'm going to head back to Lake in Michigan. And that's where we're going there. See, the reason people get so agitated when, oh, sorry, how you doing? When they're sitting in their cars, they think I'm like a parking meter reader. They see me with the camera. They think I'm like, filming them like in a legal parking zone. Like one time I was filming a house and a woman was double parked. She was waiting to pick up somebody, and she goes, what are you filming? I said, I'm filming that house. Well, she didn't believe me. She thought I was filming her double parked. And that led to an adversarial confrontation. And I'm like, sorry, lady, I didn't even notice you sitting there. I'm a live streamer on TikTok. And she cursed me up and down and told me what a horrible person I was for existing. And I was like, I don't care. I'm not work for the city. I'm not going to give you a ticket. I'm on your side there, lady. You can double park as much as you like. I don't care, you know. And she had a kid in the car. I just felt bad that I agitated her so much and made her baby cry, you know. And here and she probably was protecting her baby. She thought I was like a threat. And because other people are a threat, I'm assumed to be a threat, you know. So here we're back. This is the library stop on the Van Buren stop here. We'll head up the loop. We got beautiful tulips here. And we got this plaza here. There's DePaul University has some. How you doing? Sorry. DePaul University has some nice stuff here. And we'll head up and check out the tulips here. Used to be addicted to soap. There you go. Need some positive input. You and me both. You and me both. You and me both. I'm a lover, not a fighter. In the event of war, I'm a hostage. Yeah, it's a clear, crisp spring day here. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. Here, we'll head over here. State Street, Chicago Cultural Walk. And probably the reason so many people tuned in, the algorithm noticed I was filming the Daley Plaza activities, and it probably started pushing it to, my fear was I didn't want it to push it to the people that would be against that. Because the algorithm's set up to create controversy. You make money off of controversy, controversial things. You know, we notice it as content creators. And it shows you how the social media companies actually make money off the misery of other people. Natural disasters, crime, wrecks, sexual malfeasance. They make money off of all that. And people fighting amongst each other, protests, political, hate speech, they make money off of all that. And they say, we're here to protect the experience of all. And then they'll ban your account. This is not free speech, this is monetized corporate speech. They're milking us like cows. Here, so the tulips are kind of past their peak. We filmed them last week. Here they are. Yeah. Yeah, Alvin, how you doing there? Danny. Yeah, there's so much negative news, it's hard to watch the news. But we find out about it one way or another. Look at these fake plastic trees. I always think of the Radiohead song, Fake Plastic Trees, when I see these. They line them up at night. There's this little, they tried to do something there to make it more interesting. There's that little loading zone area here. We're on State Street just south of Adams here. We need more cowbell. Yeah, avoid the news there. The moon's become too arrogant. Yeah, I agree. Shoot the moon. Hey, look at these tulips. Look at that. Yeah, it's good to avoid the news, especially when you're feeling down. Yeah, we'll cross the street here. Look at the tulips here on State Street. Yeah, there we go. So this is a power plant that serves this chilled water heating and cooling to the buildings downtown. It's a central cooling and heating plant, like a big giant chiller, HVAC unit. Look at the tulips here, State Street. There's the big bus. Sneakerhead University. What is that? Here's the Moreau stop on the red line. American Pope Leo the 14th. Yeah, this is Chicago. Yeah, Christopher, welcome to Chicago. This is State Street. So Chicago has two subways, the blue and the red line. The rest of them are elevated on the CTA tracks that loop around the central business district. This is the Palmer House Hilton here, State Street. And see, we got these interesting early skyscrapers all along here. We'll go by the Palmer House Hilton, the Carson Prairie Scott, which is now the Gothic Target. We already went by the Chicago Theater. We're checking out the tulips here. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Gabrielle, have a wonderful day there. Garviel. Yeah. So we got some wind here. But if you think about it, yeah, I understand. Live streaming is considered to be a bourgeoisie thing to do, because you got to, in order to do it, you have to have, you know, unlimited data, which costs money. So it's the entry level, even though it's low, you know, it's still, you know. But you know, I remind you know, like look at Key's Impact. You know, Key's Impact. He's one of the best content creators we have here in Chicago, and he talks about these issues too. And I'm sure he's experienced it too. And he's a rapper himself and promotes Chicago businesses. You know, Nia Azel. We got Jay City Walking Girl. We got a lot of diverse voices here live streaming. It's not just me, and I try to, I'm pretty welcoming to all different perspectives. We must be friends, not enemies. Please don't consider me as a foe here. That's what I'm trying to tell people here. I want to help out, you know. Here's the tulips here on State Street to Pastor Prime. Chris presents. How's it going there, Chris? Hey, Chris, have you ever, I'm sure this has probably happened to you. I was walking down Dearborn Street in Printers Row, and I was trying to get that shot of the clock tower on the Dearborn train station, the historic Dearborn. And it always surprises me when people are sitting in their cars. Like there was a parked car like that, and there were some people sitting in there. And I was talking loud, like I always am. I was talking about Fort Dearborn. And the window was open, and they started cursing at me as I walked by the car. And I was like, sorry, you know, I'm live streaming. And I thought the guy was going to come out and chase me down because they were angry that I live streamed them sitting in the car. And I had no idea they were sitting in the car. I really thought I was going to get attacked this time. One of these times, Chris, you know what it's like. A live streamer's going to get attacked in the street. And I've got pretty close calls. And that guy wanted to fight me. And I don't understand why. Here's the Carson Prairie Scott. Oops, sorry. And if you look here, see Louis Sullivan's initials there. LHS. See LHS there, Louis Sullivan. This is the wrought iron in the Gothic Target, which used to be Carson Prairie Scott here. And here we'll head up State Street. I got to get back to work. But thanks for tuning in, Chris. Please follow Chris Presents. He's huge on YouTube. He does great Chicago-based content. Thanks for tuning in. I need to mention you with the other live streamers I was talking about. Our fellow TikTok live streamers. I know you and this Jim and I produce wonderful content of Chicago on YouTube. And check out Chris Presents there. He's a fellow Chicago live streamer. Thanks for tuning in. And here we'll head up State Street. Yeah, I know the camera, and probably that encounter wouldn't have went that way if I didn't have a gimbal and a camera. They assumed I'm some wannabe media influencer, which you know and I know we're content creators. We're not trying to be influencers. At least I'm not. You know, trying to. Key's Impact actually does more promotion of businesses, and he's better at marketing. You know, I'm a wannabe hippie here. I don't really capitalize on the monetization aspect of this whole thing. I'm leaving money on the table here, but I don't want to be beholden to my advertisers. You know, you understand. Here's the here we're down by. Let's cut over to. We're at Washington here. Yeah, we got 1247. We can check out the Bean here. So let's go to some touristy areas, and we'll win this live at the Bean here. So thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. We're at Washington and State Street, center of the loop here, and there's the train, the clock tower for Marshall Fields. Historically, there's a green line heading down to Cottage Grove, and hey, the Pittsfield building. That's the guy that bought the skyscraper. So if you run across the TikTok video, the guy's like, "I bought a skyscraper. It's this building. It's the Pittsfield building." We'll see it once we get beyond the overhang here. How you doing? There it is, the Pittsfield building. One time this was the tallest building in Chicago briefly when it was built in 1925 or whenever. and the heirs of Marshall Field. So Marshall Field's children raised money to build this building as an investment in the 1920s. And Pittsfield building, this is the one that the guy just bought. I think there's already housing at the lower levels. I think he's going to put housing at the upper levels, which would, of course, have spectacular views of the Chicago skyline, Millennium Park, and the lake. And I wish him all the best there, because that atrium's amazing. We go to the Pittsfield Cafe. Chris Krasinski presents. I'm sure you filmed this too. This beautiful combination of a Art Deco Gothic. It's got the coffered ceilings and that beautiful atrium with the Pittsfield Cafe. We'll check that out some other time. But here, we'll head over to Millennium Park here. Actually, let's walk through it. Let's walk through it. Let's see what it looks like here. We'll just briefly, as long as it's open, we'll walk through the Pittsfield Cafe at the bottom of the skyscraper that this guy just bought. Washington Wabash Station's here on the Chicago Loop here. We're on the south side of Chicago, Ernesto. That is awesome. Yeah, we just announced the new Pope there, Pope Leo. And from Chicago. Oh, there's still cars heading across here. The last car there. Probably couldn't see the light. Do you see the light? Do you see the light? Yeah, the Roaring 20s. So here, the Pittsfield Cafe, 33 South Wabash to Pittsfield. It's like you literally step back in time. And I'll show you here. Look at it. How you doing? Appreciate it. Okay. So here, the Pittsfield Cafe. Look at that. Look at this beautiful atrium. They got the Pittsfield Cafe. This is open for breakfast and lunch. They have arcades down below, but nothing's down there now. And see, look at these. And Pittsfield Cafe. This is great. Look at this beautiful chandelier. And this is the skyscraper that the guy bought. The guy said, I bought a skyscraper. It's this one. He shows these coffered ceilings. This is the elevator lobby. And we'll head straight out here. And there's the residential entrance is over there. Let's try to get out of here. Look at the letterbox. And we'll head over to Millennium Park. Look at the details. Look at that. Look at the ceiling. And even the doors. Pittsfield Cafe. Yeah, we got reruns of the Palmer House Hilton. Yeah, we go through there often. Palmer House Hilton's beautiful. You can go inside the lobby there. Yeah, and here's the Cultural Center. We go inside there. We go inside a lot of these buildings if we can. And we'll go across to Millennium Park here. We got 1251. You baled hay for a farmer? That's good. We had 158 people. That's great. I think that's probably one of my highest counts there on YouTube. That's great. I'm getting so warm. I'm taking my jacket off here. So if the camera's shaky here, I'm taking my jacket off so I can hold it in my hand because it's going to be too hot once we get in that sun here. So hey, welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Michigan Avenue. We're up here by the Aeon. And I'm still laughing about that encounter on the South Loop there. Look at that. I'll go back in the reruns to see how I handled it. Let's see. There's always room for improvement of me on my part to de-escalate situations. I gotta make sure I don't become the problem here. But here's Michigan Avenue, looking north here. See how you can go down into the parking garages here, the Millennium Park garage. You can enter right from Michigan Avenue and park underneath the bean here. And they got music here. They got the bar open. 60 likes, that's good. Yeah, thanks, Christopher. Very lucky guy. Michigan Plaza, I know. Yeah, I'll go to Michigan Plaza. Yeah, I got you. Very lucky guy. Thanks for the good information yesterday about the weight of the bridges. You know. Here we got some students heading through here. Probably went to the Art Institute. There's probably a lot of field trips this time of the year. They're playing music over there. I'm trying to talk over the music because I don't want to get a copyright strike and have to scrub out the music. But here we'll head up to the bean here. And Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris, for the good information there. I appreciate it. 77, sunny skies, Mojave Desert. Chicago pizza, Roman pizza. There's going to be a lot of jokes about the Chicago Pope. I'm sure that's great. That's great. We got White Smoke. New Pope Leo's from Southside Chicago there. So he probably is a White Sox fan. Hear the sirens. There's a bunch of sirens coming down Michigan Avenue here. Hey, the tulips look nice. Got some purple tulips here. And there's the Pritzker band shell. They're still working. Oh, they've actually must have made some progress. They took down some of the tarps. Let's show this. So we'll show the progress they're making on the Pritzker band shell. They put some of the speakers back. Oh, okay, the speakers are back. That's a good sign. They had the speakers down. They were working on this trellis structure that holds up the sound system for the great lawn here at the Pritzker band shell in Millennium Park. Here it is. Frank Gehry designed this. Frank Gehry, architect. And this is called Millennial Modern here, I think. This architectural style. And mainly just associated with Frank Gehry. But here's the bean, of course. The bean is associated with this as well, Millennium Park. And so I'll film the bean and then we'll head back to work here. 80 degrees. Hey, yeah, it's supposed to look nice for the weekend. So, like I said, on Saturday, this Saturday, May the 10th, they're supposed to turn on the Buckingham Fountain. And I hope to cover it on TikTok. Maybe Chris will be covering it, or other people will be covering it on YouTube. And Ernie might be there. There might be other people streaming on TikTok. We'll probably run into this Gemini. And it's always a fun time of the year when they turn on the Buckingham Fountain, because it means we got the whole summer ahead of us. Look, people are doing handstands. Look at all the people gathered here at the Bean on a nice, crisp, 55-degree sunny day here in Chicago. Happy spring. Look at that. There's the Bean here. Look at the skyline behind there. And we'll just head away and go back to work here. So thanks everybody for tuning in here. I'm just going to head back to Michigan Avenue. And we'll round out our footage here. Where have all the Michaels gone? Yeah. So Amon, are you praying for our demise? What a depressing thing. Can't you be more positive and like root for us? Why do you have a bias against Chicago? I'm trying to. I don't have a bias against you wherever you're living at there. I know you might like our politics, but not everybody agrees with the politics of the city. So don't defame the whole group for just, if you don't like our mayor, or if you don't like, you know, our crime, we don't like our crime either. And I'm sure there's something about where you live you don't like either that you'd like to change. So let's work on that, and I'll work on improving my life too, because there's things I can do improving my life. It's always easy to point out the faults in others. How you doing there? So yeah, I don't know. I think it's supposed to start, Ernie, at 11. I've been there the last 2 years. It takes them a long time to get it going. They do a bunch of speeches and stuff. It might be good to get there by 11 because they might do it earlier, but usually they do it around noon. Usually the speeches start around 11:30. They'll have, whoever the corporate sponsor is will give a big long speech, and they keep everybody's like, turn it on, everybody. They keep talking and they keep talking. All the politicians and the aldermen come out, and yeah, thanks everybody for admonishing. I don't expect people to enjoy this content. There's plenty of things. I'm always amazed that people will express that they don't like my content, but they'll just continue to watch. And I'm like, if you don't like it, why are you torturing yourself? It just amazes me. Maybe they're hoping it'll get better. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being on our little live stream of the South Loop here. And hey, the nice weather's all ahead of us here. We'll continue to stream. We ain't gonna let people stop us. And hey, Suenos is coming up here. Suenos is coming. And hey, Caleb, how you doing there? Alvin, Ernesto, Mary Trees. Really, Julie Reed, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll cross Randolph and we'll get that nice view of the Wrigley building, and we'll head up to Nando's. We'll see if there's a line at Nando's, and then I'll sign off there at Michigan Plaza, just like Very Lucky Guy asked me to do, which I appreciate it. Thanks for giving me a good destination here. Thanks for understanding. And here we'll cross Randolph there. There's Estaloca. Get to Freda Tacos there. There's Randolph looking through the theater district. We already walked through there. People selling merchandise. And hey, look at that view. Let's zoom in here. There you go. Looking up Michigan Avenue towards the Wrigley building there. The Pope's lips are moving, but you can't hear what they're saying. He's become comfortably numb. Oh man. There was some alarm, some cheesy alarm going off behind us there. Hey, look at everybody out on Michigan Avenue here. Joint soaking up the sun here. Garrett's Popcorn, 75 Years of Magic. Lids, they're going to open a new rainbow cone, a new Cinnabon there. And here's Bubblicious Stan's Donuts. There's no line. There's no line to Nutella, so today's the day to go to Nutella.
That was hilarious.
Your lips are moving, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, my hands felt like two balloons. I got that feeling once again. I can't explain. You would not understand. This is not how I am. I've become comfortably numb. So hey, we'll end it on that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Look at these beautiful dogs here. Yeah, how you doing there, doggies? Crossing Lake Street here. Heading back to work. So we'll see you after 5 on TikTok. Thanks everybody. Thanks Ernesto and everybody else for tuning in here. Thanks for your prayers for Diana. And we'll keep you updated there, and we'll talk more about it after 5 here. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, everybody. Hey, Christopher. Talk to you later. Hey, bye. Thank you.
Are you Brian?
Yeah, I'm Brian Really Chicago. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, thanks for saying hello. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to see
Yeah,
you.
I just shut it off. I didn't see you coming. I would have.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, it was just so cool
That's
to
good.
see
Thank you. What's your name?
Trisha.
Trisha. Thanks for saying hello.
I'll comment next time.
That's good. Thank you. I'm going back to work. I'll see you later. That's great. That's awesome. Thanks, Trisha. Hey, people graduating here. That's great.